Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the class of OPM. It's our third lecture. In last lecture, we have discussed in detail about the chase strategy and level strategy. In level strategy, we have discussed that we will produce the product according to the some steady level. The product is not going to increase or decrease. In demand strategy, we have discussed that the production will be increased or decreased according to the demand. Before in techniques of aggregate planning, there are these two techniques. These are pure techniques or pure strategy, and the third one is mixed strategy. And mixed strategy, sometimes we are following level strategy and sometimes you following demand strategy. Why we are following level strategy? Because sometimes it's very difficult for us to increase or decrease production according to the demand. Suppose it's very difficult for us to hire or lay off worker continuously. It will have negative effect on their motivation level, and it also have negative effect or stress condition will be arise in that organization. Union contractors also avoid continuously hiring and laying off the organization, and cost is also associated with this method. So in such a situation, level strategy will be followed, and in some situation mixed strategy will be followed. Before following any strategy, the aggregate planning in where we are following these techniques, these strategies, there are some steps. The first one is determined demand. Yes, hold a minute. Determined demand for each period. Now this demand means aggregate demand. We are basically discussing about aggregate demand. We will determine what will be the aggregate demand for some period. The next step is determine capacity. Capacity means how much you can produce in a regular time, in overtime, in subcontracting. In last lecture, we have already discussed, suppose we are producing 6 hours per day and there are 6 days, so 36 hours is total our production, or we are producing 7 hours and 5 days and so on. So I will check how much is the regular time production. In our time production, already we have take the estimate that you can normally produce up to 2 or more, and worker can't produce more than 2 hours per day, or it will be 3 hours or etc. So you will check how much you can produce, how much you have a capacity in subcontracting in our time, and the last one in subcontracting you will see the capacity, how much you can produce in subcontracting. Third one is identify company or departmental policies which will affect the strategy you are going to follow. Suppose there is a need of 5% safety that you will produce the product and you will keep the 5% in a safety stock, and you are not going to sell this product. And some other policies, suppose that output requirement, so you must have to follow the company policies. Fifth one is determine unit cost of regular time. In regular time, what will be the unit cost occurred, or what will the unit cost in our time? Our time unit cost is much more than regular, and subcontracting is too much higher from our time and regular time production. What will the cost associated while I am holding the inventory, and what is the cost associated when taking back orders and laying off workers? Develop, then fifth step, I will have to develop alternate plan and then compute the cost associated with each plan. If the last step, if the plan are satisfactory, then continue, and if it is not satisfactory, then again move to the step number 5 and develop the plan and decide which plan is more best. Now the basic 2 techniques available with us in which we can apply in aggregate planning. First one is informal technique, or we can say trial and error method. And trial and error method informal approach consists of developing sample table graph that enable planners to visually compare projected demand requirement with existing capacity. They are beautifully producing tables and worksheets in which they will compute the demand with the capacity. Alternative are usually evaluated in terms of their overall cost. You will check the alternate in basis of the cost. The chief disadvantage of such method is they do not necessarily result in optimal aggregate plan. The plan we are deciding may not be the best one. There may be some other plan available because we are doing trial and error method and we are developing different alternate plan. So The plan we are selecting may not be the best one. The other plan may be available with much less cost. So this is the basic drawback. This is the worksheet in which you will do the calculations. First one is for periods. Period for period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a total. Forecasted demand will be put it here. Then we will check what will be the output cost, what will be the regular time production, hour time production, subcontracting production. This is the total output forecast, how much we can produce. The next one is inventory. What is the beginning inventory, ending inventory, and average inventory available with us? If backlog is available, so how much backlog is and in which time period we will going to fulfill this cost. The last one is the cost associated to output cost, regular cost, overtime cost, subcontracting cost, hiring or layoff cost, or holding inventory cost, back order penalty cost. This is the total cost in each period will be calculated in such worksheet. But before moving towards the mathematical calculation, as there are some assumptions in each and every situation, as we have studied assumption in economic, similarly there are some assumption in this situation also. The regular output capacity is the time is the same in all period. No allowance is made for holiday, different number of work day in different month, and so on. This assumption simplify computation, means there is no concession will be allowed, no allowance will be given for holidays or for other holidays. Every month different holidays come, suppose Eid holiday, summer holiday, or Father Day, Mother Day, Iqbal Day, Quaid-e-Azam Day, Pakistan Day, Jasn-e-Azadi, whatever. So these holidays will be not considered in this calculation. We will assume that whole days of week will be as a working day. Cost, back order cost, inventory cost, subcontracting cost is a linear function composed of unit cost and number of unit. This often has a reasonable approximate to reality, although there may be only narrow range over which this is true. Cost is sometimes more of a stop function. What's mean? It's mean when I am producing 10 units, the cost will be 2 rupees per unit. But in reality, when I am going to order 100 units, the cost may be 1.80 or 1.50. But in this calculation, we have assumed that costs will remain same without concerning the quantity order. We will take it as a linear function. In linear function, unit cost and number of units will not connect it with other things. So in this situation, we have taken that rate with respect to quantity is non-linear. So we are taking as a non-linear function. Rate with respect to quantity is a non-linear relationship, while in while we take linear relationship. So what's mean by linear? Linear means that cost will not get affected either increase or decrease in quantity, while in reality rate will be changed with respect to quantity, and the rate and quantity have a non-linear relationship. Plans are feasible. Third, that is sufficient inventory capacity exists to accommodate a plan. Subcontracting with appropriate quality and capacity are standing by, and change in output can be made as needed. It means that the subcontractor always available whenever I am needed. The quality of the product produced by the subcontractor is same as I am needed. I can take our time at ever I am need. I can take a part-time worker are well available. So means plans are feasible. I can do any time of my plan, either subcontracting, inventory, work, or time order, or everyone is willing for my plans. All costs associated with the decision option can be represented by lump sum or with unit cost that is independent of the quantity involved. Again, a step function may be more realistic, but for purpose of illustration and simplicity, this assumption is appropriate. It means all costs associated with decision option are represented lump sum. Unit cost are independent. Unit cost is not affected by the quantity. Is extension of point number 2. Cost figure can be reasonably estimated or consistent for the planning horizon. Cost for the whole planning horizon will remain constant. It will not going to be changed in the planning horizon. Number 6, inventories are built up and drawn down at a uniform rate, and output occur at a uniform rate throughout each period. However, backlog are treated as if they exist for entire period, even though in period when they are initially appear, they would tend to build up towards the end of the period. Hence, this assumption is a bit unrealistic for some period, but is simplified computation. Developing and consuming is a constant rate. How much we will develop, we will consume it on the same time. It's our assumption. It's not realistic. There may be some backlog or some other backlogs are available, but in demand chase strategy, we will consider that whatever we will produce, we will consume that product in the same time. Now we have some basic calculations. The last one is inventories. So these are the basic assumptions. The basic two calculations we have to consider is the number of workers and inventory. Number of workers is the most important factor. We must have to calculate how much workers are available. So calculate the workers are available workers in current period. First of all, we take number of worker at the end of the previous period is the ending inventory for the last period and beginning inventory for the current period. How much workers at the end of the last period and how much workers are available at the beginning of the period, plus number of new worker hired minus number of worker laid off during the current period. If the worker are laid off, then they will be deducted. If the worker are hired, it will be added, but it is must consider in your mind, must take it in your mind that always the hiring and laying off are not occurring in an organization. So there must be zero, either this amount or this amount, one of them must be zero. The next one is inventory. Inventory is calculated on the basis of either ending inventory, or inventory is calculated on the basis of average inventory. If inventory is calculated on the basis of ending inventory, first of all we take the inventory at the end of the period, or we can say that inventory at the beginning of the period, just like we have take the calculation of cost of goods sold. So first of all we take the beginning plus production in the current period. So this is the total inventory available with us minus the amount used to satisfy the demand of the current period or amount consumed. Then you will come to know about the ending inventory. Just take an example. Suppose I come from the college from my house and check how much quantity of roti available with me. Suppose roti available with me is 2, so the inventory at the beginning of the period is 2, and my mother produce 2 more roti for me, then the total roti available for me is 4. And how much I have consumed, so suppose I have eaten 1 roti, so deducted the amount I have consumed, what left with me, what is the ending inventory? Ending inventory is 3 rotis. So something we calculate cost on the basis of ending inventory, and sometimes we calculate cost on the basis of average inventory. If we are taking the average is basically the beginning plus ending divided by 2. It's the average inventory. And the third thing which we must have to consider is the cost associated with regular production, cost associated with overtime production, cost associated with subcontracting, hiring and laying off cost, inventory cost and backordering cost. The whole cost will be calculated. Now I will move towards the example. I have a question. For caustic demand is 200, in period 2 200, in period 300, in period 4 400, in period 500, in period 6 200. The total for caustic demand is 1800. If I will produce a product in regular time, then 2 per hour tractor is the cost. On overtime production 3 per tractor, in subcontracting 6 per tractor, in inventory holding cost is per tractor per average cost, and back order 5 per tractor is a penalty. Planners for a company that makes several models of tractor are about to prepare an aggregate plan. Several model mean aggregate plan that covers 6 period, and they have assembled the following information. Assume that outright production or 300 unit. How is the outright production or level strategy? If we are producing 1800, so 1800 by 6, level production is 300. Note that there are 15 workers. So for cost 200, 200, 300, 400, 500, 200 and 1800, and as they has demanded level strategy. So in regular time production is 300, 300, 300, 300, 300 and so on. This is our production. Now I will see what is the output. 200 is the demand, 300 I have produced, 100 left over. 200 is demand, 300 I have produced, 100 products left over. 300 is demand, 300 I have produced, nothing left. 400 is demand, 300 I have produced, 100 is backlogging. I don't have any inventory to fulfill this demand. 500 is demand, 300 is my production, 200 my backlog. I have less production as compared to my demand. 200 is my demand, 300 is my production, 100 is more production left over. Now I will check what is the beginning inventory. Nothing was available at the beginning of the period, but in the next period 100 units are available with me because I have produced 100 extra units. So 100 units are available with me. In the third period 100 units are this, and the more 100 units I have left, so total 200 units are available with me. In the fourth period 200 are available and nothing has left, so 200 units are available with me. In the third period 200 units are available with me, but 100 there is a more demand of 100 units, so I have fulfilled this demand and 100 units are left with me. In the next period 100 units are left with me, but demand was 200, so nothing is left with me and 100 units are go to backlog because this demand is not fulfilled. Again, in the beginning nothing is available for me. In the next period 100 or more production is just left with me. In third period 100 is under again I produce 100 more units, so 100 plus 100 200 units are available with me. In the fourth period the demand of 400 is not fulfilled by my production, so I will fulfill this production demand from the inventory available with me. So sorry, in that period nothing left, so 200 units left with me. In third the 100 demand is more and I have available 200 units, so I will fulfill this 100 unit demand from my 200 unit and 100 unit are left with me. Again the demand is 200 unit while I have only 100 units, so I fulfill the demand of 100 unit and 100 unit demand will go to the backlog. In the next period 100 is demand, but I have not 100 is more production. Demand is 200, I have produced 300, so 100 is more, I have produced 100 more, but it's not gone to the inventory because it will go to backlog to fulfill this backlog order. If I don't going to fulfill this order, then 5 rupee per period penalty will be imposed on the organization. If I will go towards the ending inventory, it's an ending inventory. 100 unit plus beginning, again 100 is ending inventory, and then in next period this ending and this beginning will be added 200, this 200 and 200. Just check this 100. In the next period 100 plus 100 200. In the next period 0 200. In the next period 200 minus 100 100. In the next period 100 minus 200 0 and 0. If we are going to take average inventory, so 100 plus 0 divided by 2 50, 200 plus 100 divided by 2 150, 200 plus 200 divided by 2 200, 200 plus 100 divided by 2 150, 100 plus 0 divided by 250, 0 plus 0 divided by 2 0. Now I will check what is the cost per period I have assumed. In regular production 2 per tractor is a regular time production. I have produced 300 units, so 300 multiplied 2 600 600 600 600 and 600 onwards. There is no overtime cost, subcontracting and hiring and leave of cost. I have cost of holding inventory. How much inventory I have hold? Average. I will just take the average 50. So per unit is $1 per inventory, so 50, 150, 200, 150 and 50 is the inventory cost. And backlog, there is no backlog, no backlog, no backlog, no backlog, but 100 backlog. So 100 multiply 5, 500 penalty will be imposed on me, and 0 if I did not fulfill that backlog in that period, then I have to again apply 5 per dollar. So total cost is 500 and 0. Per period cost is 650, next 750, 800, 750, 115, 0600, and total cost is 47, 600. This is a worksheet. In a trial and error method, we will do the calculation in this way. The next method is mathematical techniques or linear programming. I will complete this lecture in the, I will teach you about these things in the next lecture. Thank you.